Dragon Age the Veilguard might be the most controversial game of the year. Internet culture warriors have just slammed this game since the beginning thanks to surgery scars, non-binary, and odd character models. These degenerates have gone so far to find the people that actually worked on the game and are going ahead and harassing them. I went into this game expecting a shit show, but to be completely honest with you guys, what I played was really not that bad, but it's not to say that it was any good either. Dragon Age the Veilguard tries to do a lot of things. It really succeeds, I would say, at some things, but it's a really big failure in just so many other ways. As a normal human being, I'm not going to touch on the culture war bullshit in this review. I'm going to be giving my opinion on the story, the gameplay, graphics, and just the overall experience that I had. I didn't get a code for this, and I did spend $70 on a game where I haven't even played the old ones. All I have to reference here is Bioware's track record with Mass Effect, which was amazing, by the way, besides the recent Andromeda game. And I mean, Bioware has also been on kind of a slump lately, but if you go online, this game has won the hearts of just so many reviewers. It's got an overall mostly positive on Steam, so I mean, I would say definitely listen to the review, hear me out, but what I'm saying here is not going to be the law when it comes to this game. If you're new to the channel and you like the content, smash the like button, help us out, and subscribe for more Yap sessions on games. I try to play everything that comes out. I get no codes. There's no bias. I'm just a full-time working adult that loves to play games. I want to start with story because it's the most important thing I would say in an RPG. Bioware is known for their amazing storylines, great writing, and just really immersive dialogue. Andromeda, like I said earlier, was a miss for me, but I can't say that I wasn't a little excited going into this, hoping that it would satisfy the RPG itch that I had. The story is a little complicated, and I mean, it doesn't really require you playing the other games, but playing the older games does help you get more immersed in the world, so I mean, I'm definitely at a disadvantage here. Right away, the game throws you into these crazy events. I mean, you're playing as someone named Rook, who is recruited by Varric in pursuit of a elven god named Solus. He's basically trying to destroy something called the Veil, which is holding back all these other deadly gods and monsters. We're not 100% sure why he's doing this at first, but we do find out, of course, as the story goes on. Without spoiling much, Varric tries to talk to his old friend, but of course, it doesn't work. We disrupt this ritual, accidentally releasing two ancient gods and imprisoning Solus in something called the Fade. You're able to meditate here and talk to him, kind of like in your brain or whatever zone you're at, who, by the way, the dialogue there is the best in the game. Whoever wrote whoever's, voice actor, amazing job. I would say these moments are where the writing does shine. I think the character development there does work. I found myself actually looking forward to those moments in the game way more than any of the other dialogue options. I'm not going to spoil any more story here, but you're basically going from your base at something called the Lighthouse to different locations to try and stop the gods that were released. Things do pick up a lot towards the end, but along the way, you help out with the, typical side quests and companion quests to help further whatever relationship you have with your companions. I would say expect 30-ish hours depending on how many side quests and exploration areas you decide to do. Honestly, guys, I hated how hard it was for me to be invested in this story. Again, up until the last act, it just never felt like there was this impending doom. I mean, sure, you go through a town that's been ravaged early on by the monsters, but it just felt like I was going game area to game area, combat zone to combat zone, only to get through whatever dialogue was there and further the story. There's a real issue here with immersion that you're going to be seeing throughout the entire game, and it's something that I'm going to touch on a lot in this review. Unfortunately, the stakes of the story don't feel serious at all. I mean, the world doesn't feel like it's under threat of like extinction or attack, and the dialogue doesn't really help in this situation. I'll fully go into the dialogue a little later, but I did want to speak about the graphics next. I was playing this game on PC. I've got a 4080 graphics card. I think the game looks great. It's not buggy. There was very little pop-in, if any. And I mean, I was able to keep a very good frame rate. I had ray tracing on. And I mean, if you plan on playing this on the Steam Deck, by the way, it runs really well on the Steam Deck. At first, I honestly wasn't really a fan of the whole Pixar style graphics, but I mean, I don't completely hate it. Come on, I mean, I play Nintendo games and I can appreciate whatever graphical style is out. Honestly, as long as it doesn't look like crap. The game's environments, on the other hand, though, are just simply amazing. I love the amount of detail that's put into the worlds that you're in. I think it's a great change of pace to finally play a game that doesn't require me to look up some kind of video on how to get the best graphic settings and best performance, especially on my super ultra wide monitor. I have to give credit where credit's due here. Combat's next, and honestly guys, at first I was having some fun. I really think combat might be the best thing about this game for maybe about that first 20 hours or so. I mean, you get these 3 skills on cooldown that you can choose within your build. You can roll, counter, light attack, heavy attack. I mean, holding the attack button charges your attack up. And speaking of your build, you are able to just refund and try other things out. There's a really, really large build type of skill tree here. So I can see, a lot of people having fun with creating their character. I was playing as a rogue. It was honestly pretty fun, especially when I unlocked the different specialties near, I think, level 20-ish. On top of that, that build system does work in tandem with your armor as well as your companions. You're able to pause during combat and you're able to command your companions who can chain together attacks. You can slow down enemies or deal explosive damage. I mean, the further you get into the system, the more fun it starts to be until you get bored. I started getting bored here because it really just came down to charging up whatever abilities you have, using the ability, charging it up again, using a different ability, and attacking. Enemies felt like basic variations of each other. And again, the combat started out fun and it eventually started to get very, very stale. Dialogue is also a huge portion of the game, as I said earlier, and it's something that I really want to focus on because it's really, really bad. The voice acting can be emotionless. The writing for all the characters almost feels amateur. And on top of that, I mean, the animations don't line up right, so it looks weird. It sounds like I'm being really critical here, but again, guys, this is Bioware. I mean, the Mass Effect series gave me characters that I felt like I knew in real life. Here, they're just cliches of characters. I mean, for all the culture war crap that's going on with the Tosh character, the arc that they have is just so predictable and cliche with whatever identity crisis, that's happening during the world-ending events. I mean, I don't mind inclusion, and I think more people that feel included in something shouldn't really hurt our experience. But I feel like if you're writing for a video game and you want to get people invested in characters, the characters need to be memorable. They need to be more complex.
Nobody likes being a woman.
Ah.
This is stupid. Forget I said anything.
Forget it or dig into it, whatever you have to do. But if our dragon hunter isn't at her best, people will die.
Yeah, I'll figure out my crap. Whatever it is.
Some of my friends in Minrathous talk about not feeling comfortable in their own skin. As a man, as a woman. I could see if they'd like to talk. Maybe what they say fits how you're feeling.
Yeah. Okay. And thanks. You do look really pretty.
Oh?
To look at, I'd smudge your makeup.
Thanks for letting me down gently.
I hated how simple everyone felt. And I mean, I also hated how simple my options felt when it kept to whatever responses I had. Unlike other Bioware games, whatever decision that I made during dialogue barely felt like it mattered. It felt like I was playing an RPG light versus a full-fledged RPG, because the dialogue and the immersion is just constantly gone with just how plucky and just go happy and positive everyone really is as the world's ending. Speaking of immersion, another real big issue I had was the way enemies were placed. I mean, I forgot to mention this during combat, but I mean, sometimes you could be right in a city and it's just like people are selling things and, you cross right over and boom, you've got these demon spawn things. It's weird. It doesn't make any sense how everyone's just working whatever 8 to 5 they have selling goods while demons are just down the street. Environments felt like walkways. And I mean, you can go off the whole beaten path and you find a chest or solve a puzzle, but it rarely felt like I was in a world like the Mass Effect games, like Skyrim. Or I mean, shit, even the mess that was Starfield, that felt like at least a little more alive than this. Areas feel like someone actually played a little bit of God of War and they wanted to copy the structure, but they completely missed the whole identity and design that made that game work. And this one just not really work. Overall, it does feel like a lot of negative, but that really sums up my time with this one. The first 10 or 15 hours were great. I mean, I liked leveling my character. I was finding the companions. I was figuring out my build. The story at first felt fresh and I was into it. I was engaged. And I don't know what it is, but slowly the game started to just overstay its welcome. The cracks started to show. It was hard for me to care for the story, let alone the side missions. And the combat by the end got really repetitive, as well as the different enemies that you're fighting. Dialogue started to feel meaningless besides some obvious choices that you get. And environments, even though looked really nice, felt like linear game zones that you walk through. I don't hate the game by any means. I just didn't love it. And even though I didn't play the old games, my standards were a little high knowing that this is a Bioware RPG. My overall score for Dragon Age the Veilguard is a 6 out of 10, With this game, I would honestly wait for a pretty deep sale, $30, $20. I mean, unless you're a huge fan and you really want to play this, I think it's also a matter of time before this is on a system like Game Pass or whatever Game Pass, PlayStation has. And I think you could try it out there. Again, I am late on the review, and there's a ton of people that have played this one. They like it, but this is just my experience with the game. I do appreciate the polish. I appreciate that there's no bullshit microtransactions. And I mean, even that awesome character builder that you get right away, which I forgot to shout out. But unfortunately, the game just couldn't maintain that level of fun that I had early on. I'm really hoping BioWare can nail it for Mass Effect 4, because honestly, guys, at this rate, it's just not looking too good. If you made it this far, thanks again for the support. I appreciate you guys sticking around. Don't forget to hit the like button if you liked the video and subscribe for more game reviews. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks.